welcome to your Wednesday, March 12, 2025 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Guyana warns of charges of jail time for persons supporting Venezuela's planned annexation of ESSEQUIBO. HICKEN upbraids cops for embarrassing the police force by fighting with civilians. Police must adopt field sobriety tests to clamp down on drunk drivers, says BENN. Construction of new Berbice River Bridge to create numerous job opportunities for locals, says Dr. Singh. And Guyana MARRIOTT partners with Canadian College to train students in tourism and hospitality. Now for the news in detail. Noting that the Guyana government is aware that there may be secret agents from Venezuela in the country, Minister of Home Affairs BENN has warned that anyone who is caught supporting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's unlawful attempt to hold elections in Guyana's Essequibo region on May 25, 2025 will be charged and jailed. Here is Vanu Manikchand with our lead story tonight.
Venezuela has indicated plans to hold elections in Guyana's Essequibo region on May 25, 2025 to appoint a governor and other leaders. However, Home Affairs Minister BENN has warned that anyone found supporting the Nicolas Maduro regime's illegal actions would face charges.
We know Maduro is saying that on the 23rd of May, he will hold elections in Venezuela and he will appoint governors and other officials for Guyana Essequibo. And I've said today again, any person, Guyanese or otherwise, if it's a Guyanese who is appointed to be governor of Essequibo and be emplaced at Anna Regina, we will charge that person for treason and lock them up. Each and every one of them. They're going to be charged for treason. And anybody who is supporting them will also be charged.
Only last week, Guyana wrote the International Court of Justice to block Venezuela's attempt to conduct elections in the Essequibo region, which is 2/3 of Guyana's landmass. Guyana is asking the World Court to order Venezuela to refrain from any acts within or affecting its sovereign territory, including the Essequibo region. Guyana informed the court that the planned Venezuelan elections would inevitably be preceded by preparatory acts, including acts within Guyana's Essequibo region affecting the Guyanese population and Guyana's sovereignty over its territory. Guyana further requested the court to convene hearings on its request as soon as possible to enable such provisional measures as might be indicated by the court to be issued before serious and irredeemable prejudice to Guyana's rights occurs. The ICJ, which is currently hearing the border controversy case between Guyana and Venezuela, has already acknowledged receipt of Guyana's request. The Home Affairs Minister has reiterated that the Essequibo, along with the waters offshore, which Venezuela is also claiming, belongs to Guyana.
The issue of Essequibo and the settlement, the 1899 arbitral award, was settled a long time ago and they had no interest in it until they had political problems there, and then when we found the isle. They sent a ship out to the rigs and the FPSOs the other day to intimidate them. And I know our President Irfan is in the USA now at the moment and having discussions in related to that incursion. We have the support, we have the interests of our international partners, the USA, the UK, the EU, India, all other countries, Africa, in respect of this matter. But we can never give up Essequibo. Guyana will be nothing without Essequibo.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken has called on police officers, especially traffic ranks, to follow established operational procedures when they are out in the field. His charge comes on the heels of two ranks caught on video in a fight with two civilians, an incident which the top cop said could have been avoided. Here is Vanu Manikchand again with the details.
Addressing senior ranks of the Guyana Police Force at the opening of the Inspectors and Sergeants Conference 2025 on Wednesday morning, Police Commissioner Clifton Hicken underscored the importance of balancing enforcement with compassion. He was at the time making reference to a recent video circulating on social media with two police officers engaged in a fight with two civilian males on Camp Street in Georgetown. According to the top cop, officers need to follow the established protocols in place.
Risk assessment is your policy. When you get out there, cannot be 2 on 2. It cannot be. It has to be 4 or 6 police to 2 people. And that's why we have the SOP with the operation room. When you go out there, you do a threat assessment and you call to the operation room. Don't wait until you start fighting and things get out of hand and then you're begging to help. You are embarrassing the force when you do that.
In the video, one of the men could be seen recording the interaction with one of the officers, who then knocked the phone out of the man's hand, resulting in the scuffle. However, Home Affairs Minister BENN says that members of the public have the right to record the police and vice versa. In the same breath, however, he lamented the constant disrespect of police officers.
I don't want policemen and women being beaten on the road. We said to the police chiefs that the police on the beat, they must have pepper spray, they must have baton, and they must have taser. If we go to other jurisdictions, that is what a policeman on the beat has. If we want to measure up with other places, they must have that on the beat. So we got to work at this quickly. I don't want policemen being disrespected. The police, those who are providing the protection for peace and development, can't be beaten on the road.
Meanwhile, brothers Stephen Embrack, 30, and Antoine Embrack, 23, of Meadowbrook, Georgetown, were on Wednesday charged over the violent altercation and placed on a total of $170,000 bail when they appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Faith Magusti. In a previous statement on the issue, the Guyana Police Force said the conduct of its ranks was under review and also warned against attacks on law enforcement officers. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
Despite a 28% decrease in traffic accidents recorded in 2024, Home Affairs Minister BENN believes that there are still too many deaths on the country's roadways. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Inspectors and Sergeants Conference 2025, held at the Guyana Police Force's Mess Annex at Eve Leary on Wednesday morning, BENN lamented that too many drunk drivers get off scot-free as a result of the sole use of breathalyzer tests to detect impairment. As such, he said, in addition to breathalyzer tests, officers should also start using field sobriety tests to detect drunk drivers on the roadways. Here's a look.
I say with drinking and driving, it doesn't matter how much of the machine that we use then, the breathalyzer. My position is we could get as much breathalyzer as we want. And then some smart Alex who got money and thing, gonna get some lie or somebody to say that it wasn't calibrated. It wasn't calibrated. And the poor man dead, the family in distress, traumatized, failure at the level of the family and the community related, and there's hurt and trauma which will not be erased. It will not be erased. You want to reduce that. My position, I say again, we can get the breathalyzer and all of those things, but we have to adopt the field sobriety tests for people. We have to make them walk out and see if the eye fall on your finger, if they could come from 1 or 10 to 1, if they could walk a straight line and do those things to see whether they are in a condition to drive.
More than 3 months after he allegedly killed a laborer on New Year's Day, a businessman from Blackbush Polder, currently in Region 6, has been charged with manslaughter and placed on bail in the sum of $1 million. However, as we hear in this report filed by our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael, the prosecution's key witness has died.
Muni Ramnarayan, a 65-year-old businessman of Les Beholden South, Blackbush Polder Quarantine, in Region 6, that's East Berbice Quarantine, on Wednesday appeared at the number 51 Magistrates Court before Magistrate Tuana Hardy, charged with manslaughter. The bar and rum shop operator was not required to plead to the indictable charge, which states that on January 1, 2025, at Les Beholden, he unlawfully killed 29-year-old Yoganand Chitram. Attorney at law Bernard Silva, representing the accused, told the court that the father of one is a licensed firearm holder, and on New Year's Day a fight erupted in his bar and that Chitram was allegedly involved in the altercation. De Silva told the court that the accused intervened with the intention of parting the fight when he was reportedly attacked and thrown on the ground. As such, the businessman allegedly used his firearm and discharged one shot, which hit Chitram. The attorney, in appealing to the court to grant the accused bail, said Ramnarayan recently underwent a triple bypass surgery in the U.S. and will need to return for treatment. However, Magistrate Hardy said it was not relevant at this point in time. The prosecution told the court that Ramnarayan was on $1 million station bail while the investigation was ongoing and asked for substantial bail and for the accused's passport to be lodged. Bail was set at $1 million, with the accused being ordered to lodge his passport, and he is banned from leaving the jurisdiction. The case has been transferred to the Marriott Court and will come up again on April 1st, when the police will be expected to disclose all statements in the matter. When the incident occurred, it was reported that Chitram and his brother had gone to the rum shop to change money, and whilst there, a fight erupted. Chitram had told reporters that the victim had already walked out of the shop when he was shot. The younger Chitram was the prosecution's key witness in the case. However, on Saturday, the man died by suicide. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Coming up, politicians must not use the court to prosecute their political agendas, says Nanblao, and Education Ministry assures of transparency in textbook procurement process. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Attention builders and DIY pros. Transform your projects and upgrade your toolkit with Stanley. Start with precision cuts using the circular saw. Tackle tough jobs with the hammer drill. Achieve clean finishes with the tile cutter. Make angled cuts with the miter saw. Power through with the chop saw. And sharpen your skill with the bench grinder. Don't wait. Visit sylviesonline.com or stop by 31 High and Hatfield Streets or Lot 90 East Henrietta, ESSEQUIBO Coast to grab yours today. Upgrade your tools. Upgrade your results.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
Sun or rain? Up or down? No one knows what tomorrow will bring, but with Premier's commercial property insurance, you'll be ready. For all risks insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Fuel your success. Premier Insurance. Premier insurance coverage.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. As government proceeds with its plans to construct a new bridge over the Berbice River, Minister of Finance Dr. SINGH has remarked that this undertaking will create numerous job opportunities for locals and that upon completion, the new structure will significantly boost the sub-economy. Judicial tells us more.
We have committed to building a new bridge across the Berbice River. Now that bridge has served us very well, but as you know, that bridge also has a limited capacity in terms of heavy cargo. Trucks driving across the bridge have limitations on their weight that they can build. And so we've already gone out, we went out for a pre-qualification process. We have now received pre-qualified firms. By the end of March, bids will close for the new Berbice River Bridge.
That was Senior Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance and public service, Dr. Ashley Singh, providing residents of Sheet Anchor Village, East Kanji, Berbice, with an update on the new Berbice River Bridge. The People's Progressive Party civic government has already shortlisted 7 pre-qualified bidders from an initial pool of 9 companies for the project. Among those were 4 Chinese companies, 3 from India, 1 from Canada, and the lone local company Rocky & Son Construction. The shortlisted firms were required to submit price quotations for the project, which will replace the current 1.57 kilometer floating structure across the Berbice River. According to Minister Singh, this massive undertaking will significantly benefit the local economy.
If you think about it, we'll create hundreds of jobs during the construction phase. And once it is completed and heavier cargo can come across, you can imagine the opportunities and the implications for cost of goods as well.
The new Berbice River Bridge will be a modern fixed-span structure, eliminating the need for retractions, ensuring continuous traffic flow for both marine and vehicular transportation. As part of the project, the government has already acquired approximately 50 properties on the eastern side of the Berbice River to facilitate construction. President Dr. Irfaan Ali introduced the idea of a new bridge in October 2022, and in his New Year address, he confirmed that construction will begin this year. The head of state also assured that the Berbice River Bridge will be built to the same modern standards as the new Demerara River Bridge, currently under construction. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal has registered his concern over the use of the judiciary by politicians to prosecute their political agendas and expressed hope that the courts will take appropriate action on these matters. His comments come in light of a judicial review application challenging the government of Guyana's management and transparency of Natural Resource Fund filed by businessman Terence Campbell. Kelroy Williams has the details.
Terence Campbell, a Natural Resource Fund Investment Committee member, has filed a judicial review application challenging the government of Guyana's management and transparency of the oil fund. The application names the Attorney General of Guyana, Anil Nandlal, and Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance and the public service, Dr. Ashley Singh, as respondents. Among other things, the legal challenge seeks declarations that all withdrawals from the fund must be exclusively used to finance national development priorities, including green economy initiatives and essential projects directly linked to alleviating the effects of major natural disasters. Campbell is contending that the withdrawals are being used to finance regular government operations and that this should not be the case. Campbell is also requesting that the court to order the Minister of Finance to provide a detailed breakdown of all expenditures from prior withdrawals and to set up proper procedures for documenting future withdrawals from the fund. Campbell is represented by attorneys Royce Ford and Sina Jairam. Responding to this application during his program Issues in the News on Tuesday, Nandlal argued that these proceedings are only intended to advance political causes. He argued that the courts are funded by taxpayers' monies and should only be used to adjudicate and determine genuine legal issues.
These proceedings are not designed to address any legal issues, These are nuisance value. Well, in law they are nuisance value. They cannot succeed, but they are intended to make political mileage. They are intended to gain public acclaim. They are intended to advance political causes, and the courts do not exist for the advancement of those objectives. They are not to feather people's political nests, and that is what these proceedings are about.
Nandlal also urged that the application is inviting the court to make orders that will put it in breach of the separation of powers doctrine.
They're asking the court to interfere with, and worse yet, usurp the functions of both the executive and the legislature. They are asking the court to direct the judiciary, to direct the executive on matters such as what is national priority and what are matters of national development priority. Those are matters within the domain of the executive.
The Attorney General contended that the proceedings do not allege any violation of law and do not raise any genuine matters of contention. He posited that the applicant only has a political dissenting view.
I hope that the court will make appropriate pronouncements on these matters, because I intend to raise them frontally in the courts. Politicians must not use the court or the judiciary or any institution of state to prosecute their political agendas.
Kelroy Williams, The Evening News.
Kelroy Williams joins us again to report that the Ministry of Education has assured of transparency and accountability in its process of procuring textbooks for distribution in schools across the country. Here are the details.
On Tuesday, a social media commentator alleged corruption in the Ministry of Education's procurement process of textbooks for distribution in schools countrywide. In a written response published just before midnight, the ministry headed by Priya Manik Chand sought to set the record straight, assuring that the process is in alignment with the country's laws and follows all principles of transparency and accountability. In fact, the ministry explains that it has an internal textbook policy and a dedicated committee that gathers together teachers from across the country of the particular subject and level or grade, and together they determine the most relevant useful book for usage by learners. In most cases, the ministry explains that only one text per subject is bought, but for some subjects such as math, English, some sciences, more than one textbook may be bought based on recommendations from the committee members. Procurement then commences. The ministry noted that where books are owned by publishers, the government buys directly from the seller, as to do anything else would be a breach of copyright. In some cases, individuals, companies, or publishers also have exclusive rights to distribute particular books to countries or the Caribbean region. To begin procurement, the publisher is contacted and a quotation is sought. Negotiations to bring down prices may take place, the ministry explained. Thereafter, an award is sought from the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board using said quotation with appropriate justification for sole sourcing. A cabinet no objection is then sought in accordance with the Procurement Act, and once that is given, an award is prepared and a contract entered into. When purchased books are delivered, the vendor is paid. The ministry further explains that where the committee recommended books that have no known publisher or one cannot be located, a public advertisement is placed in the newspaper and on the World Wide Web, calling for the least expensive, most responsive person to bid to so provide. Those bids are then evaluated by MPTAB and a cabinet no objection sought and purchases made accordingly. According to the ministry, contrary to the offending post, no check was cut for any of the named books in the quotation or to the publisher or at all as alleged. The ministry further clarified that the minister is without the ability and/or jurisdiction to cut or order the cutting of checks. Additionally, it argued that in any event, said checks could not be cut as alleged as there were no releases yet from the Ministry of Finance. The ministry noted that its bulk distribution unit was merely being proactive in getting quotations for the books that are needed in the system. In light of the post made, the ministry has since cautioned politicians, political parties, and other personalities to refrain from endangering the lives of our children or hampering their quality of education by politicizing education. Kelroy Williams, The Evening News.
A partnership between the Guyana Marriott Hotel and the Seneca Polytechnic College of Canada will see foreign students being trained in tourism and hospitality. Michael Henry reports that this training will be conducted at the Guyana Marriott Hotel's Kingston Georgetown location.
Canada's Seneca College of Applied Arts and Technology, branded as Seneca Polytechnic, has teamed up with the Guyana Marriott Hotel to offer hands-on training for its students in the area of tourism and hospitality. Each practical training session will last for a period of 4 months and will be conducted at the Marriott Hotel in Kingston, Georgetown. When the training is completed, the students will have the option of remaining in Guyana to work in the tourism and hospitality industry. Under this program, the first cohort of students arrived in the country in January and their training will be completed in April. The next batch will arrive in September. This initiative has the support of the Canadian High Commission in Guyana. In an interview with the Evening News, Human Resources Manager at the Marriott Hotel, Darshan Singh, remarked that this is a wonderful opportunity for Guyana.
Among many initiatives, we have a vested interest in promoting education, especially in the tourism sector of Guyana, because we know that the market is limited in terms of the capacity. We have both our local and overseas professionals working with us, and there is where we find the resources available for our company. And these associates that we have working with us are internationally trained. They have experience from more than one Marriott. And there's where we have the opportunity to give back. We have at this moment, about 354 staff, and majority of those staff are local. So if we bring 2 expats or 3 expats, they add to the capacity building. They do on-the-job training. The hospitality sector in Guyana will definitely benefit from that.
The Evening News also spoke with Regional Business Development Manager for Seneca Polytechnic, Shalini Jagan, who noted that this project could help address any shortage in human resources within the local tourism industry.
One of the things that we wanted to ensure is that these students have 360 experience. Given the amount of hotels that are coming up here in Guyana as well, there is an evident need for individuals in hospitality and tourism. So as we have more individuals training, there is that supply for personnel in hospitality and tourism. So we wanted to give the students a taste of that as well. So what they do is on a rotation basis for those 4 months that they are here in Guyana, they will be participating in the front desk. So they will have customer service experience. They will be in the kitchen, so they'll be learning culinary experience. And then they'll also be in housekeeping, so they understand a bit of the operations and management and the engineering that goes on in the back end as well. So it is a very comprehensive experience.
Meanwhile, this newscast caught up with one of the students on the program, Jennifer Marshall, who shared that the experience so far has been rewarding.
So it was a lot of overwatching the next person and learning from their moves what's deemed okay and not okay over here in this culture. So just learning what's right, what's not right over time. Here with their culture being a lot different, the language barrier too was difficult to keep up with, but again, you learn with it over time. It gets easier. With the hospitality side, it's easy to learn because everyone is different, so it's a different attitude for everyone else. It was challenging only with the language barrier. Everyone wants to show you something, so it was overwhelming at first, but it was a nice feeling because everyone knows you're new. It's going to take you time, but this is for you to learn. This is for you to know. So it was a nice feeling.
I am Michael Henry, reporting for the Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Thursday, March 13, 2025 at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice Bridge is scheduled to be closed to vehicular traffic at 15 hours 55 on Thursday, March 13, 2025. Also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Stage set for 11th Milo kickoff and losses for Guyana's U21 teams as PAHF Junior Challenge continues. These stories coming up in this evening's Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Did you know that Gassie's Jet A1 fuel is a type of aviation fuel specially formulated for turbine engines? Jet A1 fuel is safer to handle and transport than any other fuel types due to its high flash point and low volatility. It also boasts a high energy content, enhancing aircraft performance and efficiency. So whether traveling for business or pleasure, choose Guyana's Jet A1 fuel for a safe, reliable, and efficient flight.